Esta tienda es el sueño de nuestra familia. Un día será toda tuya.
Pero todos seguimos una regla sencilla.
Los elementos no se mezclan.
I want to ask both of you a really basic question first. Was there something that your parents wanted you to become before pursuing filmmaking?
I was going to run my father's store. I was supposed to take over his shop.
My parents were pretty traditional, so I think they, ultimately thought I would be a wife and mother.
Right.
And honestly, it was my dad who really pushed me to go to some really great schools. And, so while he didn't dictate what he wanted me to be, he set me up to kind of pursue something that I really felt passionate about.
Evidentemente no querían que fuera actriz. Mi papá.
Ajá.
Mi mamá me apoyó. Y fue llorar y luchar. Y entonces yo me vine a México, me trajo mi mamá a hacer pruebas y a hacer cosas. Y la condición era, nos regresamos a Monterrey y lo que quieras desarrollarte lo haces en Monterrey. Y entonces les dije, yo me quedo en México y luché por mis sueños. Y entonces tenía unas tías que ya estaban grandes que me recibieron en su casa. Y sin dinero, porque yo no tenía el apoyo de mi papá, mi mamá iba y venía. Y luego me quedé con otras tías ya mejor acomodada, ya vivía en una ciudad. Pero la condición de mi papá fue que terminara por lo menos la preparatoria.
Claro.
Entonces, igual sin dinero. Y entonces pues ya la empresa en donde yo trabajaba en ese momento me apoyó con un dinerito, con una beca, o por lo menos para mis chicles y mis chocolates.
Súper bien.
Y entonces viví cualquier cantidad de vicisitudes, pero lo logré. Luché por mis sueños al 100%.
¿Nunca has salido del barrio de fuego?
Lo siento, los elementos no se mezclan.
¡Hey!
Y mi papá te herviría vivo.
Nadie tiene por qué decirte qué puedes hacer con tu vida.
There's really beautiful stories about the pitching process of the movies. So many people tell the stories of their families, their lives, their loved ones. And Peter, you said earlier that you had the same experience with your family. So I was wondering, how was that pitching process for you to get into Pixar and say, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about myself a little bit, but I want to give this twist as well?
As I was doing some PR, I had this moment where I got to go to a ceremony with my parents celebrating the arts. I had a speech and everything, but when I got up on stage and I saw my family, my mom and my dad in front of all these other diverse people, I saw how old they had gotten. I saw how much work that there was in their face, and I got very emotional. And I told them, thanks, Mom and Dad, for all the hard work that you did coming to this country with no language, no money, to give us a life. I will, forever be grateful. When I got back to the studio, people were asking, like, oh, how was that New York thing? And I told them that story that I just told you. And they were like, that's your next movie. At the beginning of this film, all I wanted to do was tell this hopeful story, of connection. And, but my parents passed away during the making of this thing. This film took about 7 years. And so my dad passed away first in the beginning, and then my mom died toward the end. So much of this film has been about like trying to honor their legacy, but also where my own talents can go. And I'm not, I fail a lot and my mistakes that I make, and but all in an effort to honor something. And so it was from the beginning, Raul, really from the beginning of like, should I even tell something personal? Like I was terrified to do it. I didn't, because you can get crushed because it's such a connection to the internal heart, and but there were versions of the movie that were very different, that took me to a darker place. It's not a factory. These are works that we all put our hearts into. And so if you're doing that, it's going to lead you in a lot of crazy places.
And it shows. Thank you very much, guys, for your time. Peter, I didn't have the chance to meet your family, but through this film, I feel like I got to meet them a little bit, and it's beautiful. So thank you very much for everything. Thank you very much for your stories, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Raul.
That means a lot, Raul.
Yeah.
Trato de seguir los pasos de mi padre, pero nunca me pregunté qué quería hacer yo.
¿Tú cómo le picharías a las mamás de por qué Elementos es esa película que deben ir con los niños, ¿no? Que deben ir y verla y disfrutarla?
Es que yo creo que es una gran lección tanto para jóvenes como para los papás. Los jóvenes de luchar por sus sueños y los papás entender que es otra generación, que no podemos imponer cosas, que la van a pasar bien, que van a llorar, que visualmente es muy linda y aparte suceden cosas bien mágicas, o sea, cómo el fuego puede lograr hacer tantas cosas, cómo el agua se disuelve y puede volverse a regenerar. O sea, yo creo que tiene momentos lindísimos la película, aparte que es muy nostálgica, también encuentras momentos muy amenos.